Hello, team players. I'm sorry that it's kind of weird. We have no idea what we're doing, but today I've got a special guest with me. We're doing a build today. So why don't you introduce yourself for those of my viewers who don't know you?
Fantastic. Hey, team players. My name is Ryan. I run a channel called 20 Side Adventures. I do a little bit of class builds, a little bit of just kind of game concepts. I like digging into equipment and some optimization there. And then also story building and kind of not necessarily pure optimization, but inspiration and why your characters might want different feats or to build different ways. So that's kind of the stuff we put out over there.
So we've got two different builds for you today. So we're gonna start with 20 Side Adventures build. So why don't you go through that with my viewers?
Sure. So we were doing the School of Gates Wizard, and when I was looking through what the school spell gives you, those spells that teleported items around really caught my attention. So that was really the focus of the build as I went through this, which was kind of instrumental in my background choice. I picked herb. Well, first I picked a sprite because I thought the mobility of being able to get fly would be valuable to keep the wizard safe, to not have that component be a concern for the party, that the wizard's mobility would get it out of some situations so it could focus on its role in helping the party out. Background, I went with herbalist because I wanted to get the natural medicine skill feat early on, so I didn't have to spend points on it early. And that's for an archetype choice. Heritage Luminous Sprite, so you could provide light for the party and just not have to worry about who has a torch, who has a light spell. You just get it from your wings. And then the first ancestry feat I took was the Evanescence Wings to get that fly speed early on, even though it's a glide. Still can kind of help you move around. Thesis went with spell substitution. I just think that's a good take for most wizards because it gives you versatility. In a 10-minute refocus, you can swap out your spell slots and have whatever's best suited for the situation coming ahead. Level 2 reach spell, simply to increase the range on buffs or offensive spells that I select later on. I just think it's a real versatile way to be able to reach out and help your party at the maximum distance. And then the herbalist dedication, and this is to be able to create healing supplies and other helpful herbal alchemical items that you can then use the gate spells to teleport around and give to your party as they need them. Do you want to jump into spells while we're going through here, or how do you want to
Yes,
do that?
yes, yes. Let's go through spells.
So for these early spell ranks, cantrips, daze, because it's a pretty good spell to inflict some debuffs on the enemy. Needle darts if you need some offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Prestidigitation, because it's one of the best role playing and just useful spells to have on hand. Electric arc, just another easy offensive spell if you need to dish out a little bit of damage.
Well, I do
Uh,
think Electric Arc is one of the best cantrips you can take. It's really
yeah,
good.
it is super solid.
Yeah.
Time sense, you can get yourself a little bit of a bonus on an attack roll or a perception check, so it's a reasonable little buff to have. Curriculum spell took telekinetic hand. Again, you just never know when you need to pick something up from far away. Level 1 spells, conductive weapons, so you can give a melee fighter a little bit more damage in the fight. It's range touch, but with the reach
Reach
meta
spell,
magic. Yeah, what do they don't call them meta magic anymore, spell shape, sorry.
spell shade.
So
Yeah.
with the reach spell shape, you can get conductive weapon beyond touch, so if you need to give it out to someone once the fight's already started and people are moving, you have that option. Tailwind is just a good buff as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Tailwind is great. All that extra speed, that's really good.
Absolutely. And then thoughtful gift,
Yeah.
so this is where you can start reaching out and delivering items that you have from your inventory, so leaning into taking the herbalist dedication. Level 3 general feat, incredible initiative, just an easy take pretty much on any build. So for the level 4, I took linked focus because I do branch out later on into a couple different archetypes where a couple more focus spells come available. So linked focus, being able to regain a focus point as well as a spell slot when you drain your bonded item, was
Mm-hmm.
just a useful way to replenish opportunities. Poultice preparation. This is in the archetype, and this is allowing you to create something you can hand out that is applied to reduce reoccurring damages. Then for spell rank 2, Entangling Flora to help control the battlefield and give your allies an advantage from uh, being able to just slow down enemy movement. Telekinetic Maneuver, so if you need to maybe apply a trip or a shove, you have an option to help out in that regard. And then Web as another just area controlling spell. And then because you don't have a lot of reactions as a wizard, Warping Pull is a good way to help the party out from your curriculum spell and pulling someone out of danger. Level 5, Energizing Wings, again, just leaning into that movement speed and being able to keep your wizard out of danger. Split slot for level 6. This is just giving you more flexibility and options with your spell casting. And then here's where I got out of the herbalist dedication and went to time mage dedication, because if you're manipulating space, you might as well manipulate some time. And then magical shorthand, just as a wizard, if you're collecting spells as you go, which I highly recommend. Having one of the advantages of a spell book is having the most type of diversity possible in your spell list. So anything that helps you more quickly collect and move on with spells you come across is of benefit. And then level 7, which is all we're gonna, I think, go over today, Fleet, because again, more movement speed is always a good thing. For the level or the rank 3 spells, Fireball, because everyone needs a fireball. Haste, again, with being able to buff your allies and give them some more action economy. Shared invisibility, so if you need to give everyone a little bit of cover to get in someplace they're not supposed to be, or just have an advantage when the fight starts. And then again, the curriculum spell of trade items, being able to hand out the free items you get to create from your herbalism to help people stay in the fight.
So yeah, for first level, I did go with versatile human because I wanted incredible initiative for the same reason that you're taking it, but I also think that there are better general feats you can take at level 3. So I wanted that extra general feat. I wanted the assurance feat in Arcana because the thing is, recall knowledge is like one of the best abilities you can use, and especially on a wizard. I mean, just knowing what your enemies are weak to, what kind of abilities you need to use on them is very very good. So I also ended up taking natural ambition for my ancestry feat because I won a spellbook prodigy. So that gives me magical shorthand for free, and when I roll a critical failure to learn a spell, I get a failure instead. Which
Great take for a
base,
wizard again.
yeah,
Just getting all the spells you can.
yeah, exactly. You know, and the thing is, I believe when you're trying to learn a spell, if you get a critical failure, you can't try to learn that spell again for like a day. But if you just get a failure, then you can try again. You're never going to get a critical failure on that. And I went with spell substitution for my thesis. Yeah, which same reason as you. Just being able to swap out spells is great. So for my spells, I first went with for first rank. For cantrips, I ended up with taking Torturous Trauma because number one, it does good damage for cantrip, and number two, if they critically fail, they're fatigued, which means all their defenses go down.
And the horror show of just twisting their organs is.
Yeah, exactly. I also ended up with taking Caustic Blast, Needle Darts, Electric Arc, just so I have extra types of damage, as well as Ignition, Shield, and Scatter Scree is really good for just slowing enemies down. For the Curriculum spell, I went with Telekinetic Hand, because again, moving items around is great. For level 2, I went with Cantrip Expansion, because more cantrips is always good. Oh yeah, I need to go over first level spells. First, I went with Briny Bolts because it does good damage and they blind. It blinds them and dazzles them if you get a critical success. And then I went with Fleet Step for speed, as well as Grease to again slow enemies down.
Grease is a great. I was like, ooh, I should take Grease because it is a great spell.
Yeah.
Looking at your build, Briny Bolt's kind of interesting to me. I didn't realize it's one of the ones that doesn't double when you crit success, but it does give you a lot of debuffs, so that was cool.
Yeah, and then for the curriculum spell, thoughtful gift. So yeah, you can teleport like a healing item into your allies' hands, basically, so
Yep.
that they don't have to pull it out. Okay, so for my free archetype, I went with the Iridian Choir Master. And the main reason for that is, it's a great teamwork archetype. It just came out. I mean, you're basically working together with one party member, but this build has other ways to help out other party members. So,
I was really excited when I saw you put it in there because I think it's a really cool archetype. I kind of get more excited by archetypes sometimes than classes just because they come up with so many cool and creative things.
yeah, right, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. I do think it's a great archetype. For my skill feat, I went with Dubious Knowledge because that is just a fantastic skill feat. Basically, when you fail on Recall Knowledge, which is a lot of what this build's about, you learn a correct answer and a bad answer, but you don't have any way to distinguish which is which. But at least you get some correct information when you fail on Recall Knowledge.
It's a
Um,
fun one for sure.
yeah. For level 3, I went with Canny Acumen for my Fortitude saving throws. Because, wizards have very bad Fortitude saves, and this build is okay when it comes to con. Canny Acumen is like one of the best general feats you can take.
And since you did the human
Yeah.
heritage to give you another general feat, you have the room to
Yeah.
really get both of them. So that's yeah, it's a good take.
Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. So for rank 2 spells, I've gone with Entangling Flora for the same reason that you took it, as well as Web for the same reason you took it. But I went with Bone Spray as my last spell. That's not a curriculum spell. You're doing 2d10 piercing and 1 bleed damage to every creature in a 15-foot count, which I think is pretty good. And for the curriculum spell, Warping Pull, yeah, just pull an enemy out of danger.
And I think really it's the only reaction either build really has. I don't think either of us had anything else. So
Yeah, right, right, right. For level 4, I went with Spell Protection Array because giving all allies a +1 to saving throws is really, really good. It's a 5-foot burst. It's not very big, but 5-foot burst. If all your allies are right next to each other, you're gonna give them a +1 to the save against that fireball. For level 5, I went with Clever Improviser. You're not gonna be able to be trained in every recall knowledge skill. So, this just gives you a little extra.
yeah, frankly, it's almost a must take for me on any human. Like it's such a good
Yeah,
feat for that
uh-huh.
reason.
For
Unless you're like maybe the rogue or the investigator because you get enough that you're kind of covering it anyways. But outside of those classes, it's a great take for any human.
yeah, so for rank 3 spells, I went with of course the fireball. You always got to take fireball. Gravity well. So I took gravity well as my next feat, which basically is a 30-foot burst within 120 feet, and everyone is pulled toward the center, even if they succeed, which is really good.
Any spell that even a success gets you some good results is a great take.
Yeah, and then I took slow rather than haste. I think slow
Yeah.
is a better spell, to be honest with you, because it doesn't have the incapacitation trait, and it's also so it works on bosses, and I think getting rid of an action on the boss is a lot better than giving an action to an ally.
I think I could agree with that.
Yeah,
My only,
yeah,
we'll do our only contentious part maybe of the video, right?
yeah,
So it's my concern is on a boss, if they save, it's only for 1 round. So you're trading two to take one. However, on a boss with there's maybe no one else, when they lose a third of their action economy, it is a lot more devastating. So I do understand that.
yeah.
I just like being able to give that extra action compounded through multiple turns on haste.
Yeah.
Slow's a great spell though. I'd never like if I had to choose between them, it'd be rough. Like that's why your spell book, right? Maybe you could have both if you know you're coming into the boss fight and maybe keep
Right.
haste for minion fights.
For my curriculum spell, I went with Echo Jump because that's a great way of just doing damage and just teleporting out of there.
Yeah, it's a great way for the wizard to get out of danger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It
And
was a hard choice on mine, but because I was leaning so much into the giving people items aspect, I just kept continuity.
Oh, I forgot to go over the free archetype and my skill feat for level 4. So for my free archetype, I went with Blessing of the Circling Gate. Basically, for one action, you and your student can step as a reaction, which is very, very good. If your student is another spellcaster and they're in melee reach and wanna step, then you can both step as a reaction, which is fantastic because that's just good action economy. And then battle medicine for the skill feat because I mean, come on, of course we're gonna
Yep.
take that because we're teleporting around all over the place. So you're gonna easily be able to get within melee reach of an ally to use battle medicine.
In my build, I debated trying to get battle medicine in because you get natural medicine, but you can't use it in combat, and battle medicine goes back to needing medicine trained instead of using nature.
Yeah.
So it was a hole I had, but I was hoping it was enough healing potions maybe to make up for it.
Okay, so for level 6, I went with steady spellcasting. Your build can fly, mine can't. So being able to teleport when your enemy is like right next to you, um, and have a chance to not get your spell disrupted is really good.
100% with Echo Jump, I think
Yeah.
you're going to make sure Echo Jump goes off.
Yeah, right, exactly. For free archetype, I went with Lesson of Bonded Eyes, which basically, as long as you and your student can see or hear each other, if a creature is hidden, is observed to either one of you, is observed to both of you. So we're gonna be teleporting all over the place, so we're gonna be easily be able to see hidden creatures, at least if we teleport into the right place. And this ensures that our student can see them too. So yeah, and for skill feat, I went with automatic knowledge for Arcana. So we get to recall knowledge as a free action.
See, I was funny. I just had an argument in my comments. I'm not a huge fan of recall knowledge for a lot of cases, but getting automatic knowledge, I do, I like that one and it makes it much more useful.
Yeah. Okay, and for level 7, I went with Die Hard because dying at dying 5 rather than dying 4 is pretty darn good. For my rank 4 spells, I went with Containment, so we can trap enemies, and then Sanguine Mist, so we can do negative damage and give temporary hit points to a single creature when you sustain the spell.
I think I forgot my level fours when we did my build.
My curriculum spell was translocate, which allows us to teleport yourself and any items you're wearing or holding to a current space, to an unoccupied space within range. It doesn't let you teleport another person, but it does let you teleport, which can be a very good way of getting yourself out of sticky situations. Which is another reason I took steady spellcasting.
Yep, solid take. I think we missed my four. So I went with Confusion for just the general debuffing. Chromatic Ray because it's random on the damage, but I kind of just like the chaos and the fairy sprite aspect of it. And then Flicker for my curriculum spell. Again, kind of the pixie chaos of randomly teleporting 10 feet in every direction. Just
Yeah.
it amused me.
The problem I have with Flicker is that you got to be very careful about how you use it, because you could teleport yourself into like a pit of lava or something, which would be
But
very
I'm
bad.
flying. So I at least have that aspect going. But you're right, you could end up in a terribly bad spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and see, this is sometimes when I do my builds, I do things maybe for the story more than optimal from time to time. So
Yeah.
it's just things that amuse me in tabletop role playing. So that this one just screamed I'm a pixie a lot more to me.
Right. Exactly. I do have a few archetypes that would be very good for this build as well that we didn't take. I think Medic would be great for this build, as would Blessed One if you got good
Yeah, I think
charisma.
it was funny. I was kind of thinking about both of those too when I was
Yeah.
building this out.
Yeah.
I'd also say anything that lets you generate alchemical items during the day. So like a dip into alchemist,
Yeah.
so you could just move items between the party
Yeah.
is would be pretty useful with it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, with your build specifically, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I was debating which route I wanted to go for which archetype would give daily alchemical items. So again, I kind of leaned into the if it's a pixie, it's probably a little more naturally focused. So
Yeah,
herbal
right,
medicine, but
right. Herbal medicine.
alchemist. There's alchemist. You could probably I don't know if the investigator archetype lets you dip into that or not,
No, I don't think it
but
does. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. If you're interested, you can check out 20 Side Adventures channel. The link will be in the description. And also my links for my Discord, my Patreon, which both those will be on my Patreon for patron members. And this video will go up for them early. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Pathfinder 2e teamwork content. And if you're interested in another build, you can check out the video on screen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, teamwork is vital. It helps us solve problems.